really here to talk about right now is escalation, because escalation is going to keep moving up and should keep moving up in order to keep story momentum moving and narrative dramatic tension rising. And this in part has to do with it becoming harder and harder to accomplish the goal and taking more and more effort on the part of the protagonist. There are different ways that protagonists can go after these tasks to get to the goal. Sometimes characters will actually accomplish the task. But if that happens, there must be a harder task. One, it has to be difficult to accomplish. And two, there must be a more difficult to accomplish goal on the other side of it, or task on the other side of it. If you look at a story like Lord of the Rings, you see this happening a lot. The Hobbit, and we're talking about Fellowship of the Rings. The Hobbit and the Fellows, they will keep going after these tasks as they have to do in order to get to their ultimate goal, destroy that evil ring of power. And sometimes they'll get past one of those goals. Like they show up at these evil mines and they can't get in, so they're fighting to get in. And then suddenly this evil water monster shows up and tentacles are grabbing people and they're like, oh, we have to get in, we have to get in, right? So they make it, they figure out the magical code to get in the door and they get into the mines. Yay, they've done it. They've gotten into the mines. They've avoided all these other problems and they've gotten away from the monster and they're in the mines, which are supposed to be a straight shot. But no, everybody in the mines is dead. Something terrible and awful is here, and now they're going to have to get past that. This is accomplishing a task, but a worse and harder task is on the other side. The other way that these things work is that you go as a protagonist to accomplish a task and it just does not work out. Oh no. So you failed. So you have to try a new task. A story in which a task totally fails and a character has to try something new would be a story like Die Hard or a plot like Die Hard. In Die Hard, the Nakatomi Towers have been taken over, and John McClane's first goal is to get help. So the first thing that he does is he sets off a fire alarm. He thinks, okay, firemen will show up, they'll discover the building's been taken over by bad guys. Yes, they will call for more help and we'll be good. So he sets off a fire alarm, but it doesn't work. The bad guys have taken over the building. They have control of phones, they have control of the alarm system. When the fire department is coming in, they just talk to the fire department and go, oh, we're a new building. Our alarms are faulty. There's no fire. The fire trucks turn around. Oh no. So John McClane has to do something new, right? So this time he calls the police. He has to beat up a bad guy to do it, to get a hold of a radio, to radio into the police and say, listen, there's terrible stuff happening here. And the police are like, oh, sir, you're on like a police frequency and get off of this line. He's like, no, send police, you fools. There's, people with machine guns here. Get over here. So they send a policeman. But the policeman shows up and there's a nice guy at the front desk, one of the bad guys. He's like, oh, yeah, everything's fine. Sure, look around. Everything's great. We don't know what's going on. So the policeman looks around and goes, everything looks good here. Radio's in, everything's good here. Walks out to his car and he's leaving. This is the point at which poor John McClane, has to throw a body out through a window, and then all the police start, all of the bad guys start shooting, and the policeman's car is getting shot up and he's revving backwards to try to survive. Well, these are goals which failed, are tasks that failed. This is, call the fire department, failed, call the police department, failed. Each time John McClane has to do a new task, come up with some new way to get to his big goal, which is like, get rid of the bad guys and save his wife. If these things are not escalating, if they're not rising, like first he calls the fire department, then he calls the police, right? Fire department, police. If these elements are not rising, plot is not rising, and narrative dramatic tension is not rising. So this is something really important to pay attention to.